In this video, raindrops sit on a window, there's some water on the tracks, and a freight train goes fast. Well, hello there. This video is going to be all of the trains that I saw on a vacation to Niagara Falls. We begin in Albany Rensselaer Station, which is where we got on. From the platform I saw this unassuming Amtrak number 709 waiting to go south. This engine is a P32ACDM, which is way too long of a name, but hey, there's longer. We got on our train, and after we departed, we passed a yard that had a bunch of private cars hailing from railroads like Santa Fe, New York Central, Chesapeake and Ohio, Pacific Union, an interesting Amtrak transfer caboose, 2 Northern Pacific cars, and an Amtrak MP15 DC that was hiding behind the cars. Once we were going, we passed a freight train that I didn't catch the engines of, and in Utica, New York, I saw this New York Central 060 on display. As we left Utica, we passed a Susquehanna railroad yard, and I saw these 2 engines and a snowplow, and then I missed another freight train. You may be thinking, damn, it's not that hard to film out a window. Trust me, these things were hard to catch with how fast they sneak up on you. Once that presumably CSX manifest passed, we went along the perimeter of CSX's DeWitt yard in Syracuse, and upon leaving the yard, there was a CSX ES44AC backing into the yard. And then I missed another freight train, and I don't even know how I missed this one. Side note, don't look at the graffiti on the cars. A bit later, when I looked out the window, all I saw on the ground was water, and since we were in the back car, we looked out the back to see that the tracks were completely flooded. It wasn't even raining that hard, but nevertheless our train had to slow down because the tracks were covered in water. We only slowed for about a minute though. And then, yeah, you already know what happened. This is all the footage I could get of this train. Then we started racing this manifest, so cue the music. Initially we were outpacing the manifest, but our train started to slow down because of a red signal or something, and the manifest matched our speed and then started gaining on us. The cars of the manifest started whizzing by faster and faster as our train slowed to a crawl. Then the manifest continued on as we came to a stop, and I did actually get the DPU on camera, and some of you might have noticed what's special about the DPU, but for those who didn't, this is the CSX Central of Georgia Sticker Heritage Unit, which is a mouthful and also my first Heritage Unit. Our train passed the same manifest later, and the Central of Georgia Sticker Unit went by again, and I got this better video of the unit. This was really cool to stumble upon a Heritage Unit and see it twice for my first Heritage Unit. Except, it wasn't my first Heritage Unit. If we go to heritageunits.com, the unanimous Heritage Units tracking site, and go to the Locomotives tab, where you can search for the locomotives of a specific railroad and see all their Heritage Units, and we search for Amtrak's Heritage Units, in their list of all their Heritage Units are all of the Empire service engines. I didn't know they were classified as Heritage Units, but that means that Amtrak 709 back in Albany was actually my first Heritage Unit. For context, in 2016, New York painted all Amtrak engines that run in New York in this livery, and I thought that this was just a paint scheme, but no, this is actually classified as a Heritage Unit. And on that note, when we got off our train, I got this picture of the engine leading our train, which was Amtrak 711, another Empire Service Heritage Unit. Someone in the comments please tell me how many times I just said Heritage Unit. Then we got to see Niagara Falls, make a meme, and see the waterfall lit up at night, which made for a really good screensaver on my old phone. On the way home, we were rounding a curve and I saw headlights approaching, so I whipped out my phone and finally I caught a passing freight train on camera, and I was rewarded with a pretty good consist too. If we slow that down, we can see the second engine was a CSX YN2 paint, and behind that were 2 Union Pacific engines. Later, our train stopped to let a northbound Amtrak go, and I literally had to spawn camp this train just to record it. I didn't know when it was going to come because the visibility out of Amfleet cars isn't great, so I just had to record constantly out the window waiting for it to come, so I just had a 15-minute video on my phone. Continuing my good luck streak, I managed to get another CSX train on film, but this was basically easy mode because it was going so slow. Then I decided to mess around with the video pause button on my phone, and I did whatever the heck that is. Back in Syracuse, I saw 2 SpongeBob cabs in DeWitt Yard, and I'm just gonna pause the video right here because I need a counter for all the engines I saw passing the Adirondack Railroad Museum. First was an F10 followed by an F7 in the New York Central stripe paint scheme. Then after some nice coach cars was an Adirondack RS18 in Adirondack paint, followed by an S1 and an RS3 also in New York Central's original paint scheme. Then when we passed the MA and NR Railroad Yard, I saw a very nice XBC Rail M420-W, still in its red, white, and blue paint scheme, along with a C425, which was also XBC Rail but in BC Rail's green paint scheme. And finally, I'll include this line of maintenance of weigh machines I saw pulling into Albany Renslayer to go home. And that's everything I saw on this trip. Later, nerds.